All right, we're getting into it here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty. And, of course, we have KG and Spencer Raxter as well. Our old buddy Tactile Puma 58. Mr. Carflag always loved the Red Wings, even though he thought they had horrible goaltending. Yes, Tactile Puma, that is an exact 100% assessment.
Yeah.
100%. Because Tactile Puma, I didn't say after they had ripped off 12 out of 16 and said, "Wow, this team's going to beat the Florida Panthers and win the Stanley Cup. They're a contender." No, I knew they were playing above the ceiling. Anyone who has any kind of cognitive understanding of what was going on knew that. I know because I talked about it all season. It's like, they're running a little hot right now, you guys. There's going to be some regression to the mean. And there was. And Byrne also said it well. And this kind of runs counter. So when I tweeted yesterday about the whole NHL point structure system and how ridiculous it is, Byrne had a great message in here, D-Mac. He's like, you know who won? It wasn't the Capitals. Obviously, it wasn't us. It wasn't the Islanders fans. It was Gary Bettman that won.
Yeah, fuck, he always wins.
Because you had major markets with blue blood teams that were locked in.
Yeah, and vitriol being spewed on Twitter between all the different. It was like a fatal four-way match. And it was like they were coming from everywhere. Oh, there's a chair from the Philly fan. Oh, wow. Right. Look out. The table's been set up by the Islanders. Oh, here come the Wings, guys. Boom, off the top rope.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, so El Gato, fire the coach. So let's do it, man. Give me the accountability, I guess you could say, the why. And in Spencer Raxter fashion, I'll lead off. They don't have a legit NHL day-to-day goalie. They don't. Yeah. They just don't. They are 2 defensemen away. Their leading scorer had what? 68 points, something like that? You got Kucherovs of the world. Everywhere I look around the NHL, you got 120-point guys on teams. They don't have that. So, like, I know it's easy button to just push the button and say, Derek Lalonde. No, that's easy. That's easy to say. I get that. And he's going to be the one that falls on the sword. And to go back to your question, KG, what's the accountability? Like, who's the accountability fall on? I would say that it is another step in the progression. Mm-hmm. If you're dying on the hill for a body, right? If you need a pound of flesh, and you want to come at me and said someone's got to pay for it, the coach has to go. You see that in the NHL a lot.
Yeah,
I'll meet you in the middle on that. If you need a pound of flesh, that's what I'll offer you. But by and large, I'm not deterred. I don't think it's a collapse. I think they were a 500 team that missed in a league that's designed for you to miss by 1 point with all their ridiculous rules in a league where you get rewarded for losing. D-Mac, if you had to, what is your take on it? The 30,000 foot.
They were never like to the next level because we always knew that because it starts with goaltending in this league, and you watch as the playoffs come along, whose goaltender gets hot. Right? Who is the backstop to that? So, there it is. You know, we hear about, trying to fill in your 2 defensemen away. Maybe you're only 1 now because it's Simon Edvinsson. He's pretty much, secured his job. But the Petries and it's questions to what goes on for the supporting role. We saw guys make different steps. Again, I'm looking at the points, right? So the number one thing is you brought up right out of the rip. Bring up the points leaders in the NHL. Right?
You don't want to do that.
I do. No, I do because this is where I want people to understand having a 1C, what that means. Because when I'm looking at, Lucas Raymond ends up playing all 82 games and leading the team in points, 72. Now, Dylan Larkin only played 68, but he had over a point a game, 69 points, which,
nice.
What a great
it's a good total
year.
end on.
Let
me know when you want it, D-Mac. I got it.
Who's leading the league right now?
All right, so as far as NHL
Kucherov, right?
stat leaders,
I know.
Nikita Kucherov had 142 points. He had 43 goals and 99 assists.
Okay.
Nathan McKinnon had 138 points. He had 51 goals and 87 assists. Connor McDavid played 75 games, 32 goals, 100 assists for 132 points. Panarin had 120 for the Rangers. Pasternak had 110. Austin Matthews had 107. Draisaitl had 106. JT Miller for the Canucks had 103. And Mikko Rantanen had 103. Those are your 100-point scores this year. There were 9 of them.
900-point scores, right? And you look at the one in there, right? Like, obviously, like, top-level guys in the Kucherovs and all this stuff, and, you know, McDavid gets hurt, you got Draisaitl and stuff like this, but guys like a JT Miller, right? That's not proverbially a number one guy, but a guy that steps up. So it goes to show you, when you got 72 points leading your team, right, and other teams have 100-point guys, like, let alone Kucherov has twice as many points as your top guy, which that just goes to show you in today's NHL. So to answer
for a team that's on the backside right now.
To answer your question, right, that I think, and the goaltending is as imperative as anything, but to me, the glaring thing is that we need that 1C. We need that 100-point guy, right? So Dylan Larkin could be the point-of-game guy, the second guy, but we need that splash more than anything in today's NHL. If you added that guy, you took out, you know. So, you know, and other guys, you got the role guys. Like, I look at these points, and it's consistency, right? But it's more consistent to second, third line, fourth line guys, not number one. Look at number one points
and
line across the league.
When you have those guys, you don't have dry runs. You don't go 4-12. Your bad stretches are 5-7. You know what I'm saying? 5-9 at worst. Like, that's, you don't have those kinds of drought. And look, I know it's easy to sit here and say that right now because I know immediately what the question, because it's a question I would have. Well, D-Mac, what do you do to get one of those guys? Because there's only 8 of them in the league, and you ain't in a hurry to get rid of one if you got one.
Right, and or it's the development, or it's like
is Lucas Raymond that guy?
See, maybe, but here's the thing, because Lucas Raymond what would Luke see? Here's the whole thing. Now you got to see is you're getting to the point where you have the assets, you have the money to make that move. Because my question is, what if you bring that guy to Lucas Raymond? Then you got 2 guys, right? You know what I'm saying? To that point, or whatever else. Mm-hmm. It's you got to bring somebody in that makes the guys around you better too. You know what no. These are different questions to get to different levels. I know we focus on the goaltending and the defense, and yes, we should. That's glaring. But to me, it's that 1C.
And
I don't know. So I know above my pay grade. That's why Stevie's, Stevie's got work to do. But that's, to me, the glaringness. Because why? You nailed it, Neil, which was my final point. With guys like that, you don't fall into those
4-12 runs.
4-12 runs.
And Spenny, I'll go to you because you're locked into the prospect pool and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. They think they have their answer at the goalie spot, don't they?
Yeah, they think they do.
Kosa is that dude.
Kosa and then Augustine coming up. They have 2 guys. Obviously, Augustine's going to take a couple more years before he's near the big leagues. But yeah, Kosa's probably a year away. They'd probably give him a full year in Grand Rapids next year, and then he's your guy.
And so it stands to reason. And before everybody gets the pitchforks out again for Stevie Y, as we're talking this through right now, they'll probably run it back again at the goalie spot, right? Mm-hmm. So for the people, and I see this comparison with the Red Wings and the Lions. Well, look at what the Lions did. The Lions had their guy at the most important position in their game, in Jared Goff. They had their guy. And he came out and was second in the league in yardage and 4th in touchdowns. You can say what you want about him. That's what he was. That's a factual statement. Yes, sir, Mr. KG.
Yeah, so my other question was leaning toward maybe next year and the young talent that's going to be coming up. Obviously, it's going to be a roster shakeup. Do you have any confidence that they can even, with younger players, they can even match what they accomplished this year? Or do you think they can surpass that? Is there any concern that instituting this with younger players, will they have a drop-off?
I would say that you're probably looking – are you looking for a bust-out from Lucas Raymond? You know what I'm saying? Like, does he jump into that 40 goal air? Because by all accounts, it would seem like he maybe turned a corner this year, right?
For me, I expect 40 plus goals from Lucas Raymond next year. And you look at all the double digit scoring guys that we had on the, like, if Bergeron plays a whole season, he's going to be a double-digit scoring guy. If Marco Kasper's up here for a whole season, he's going to be a double-digit scoring guy. Like the guys you have in the minors and in your system, their ceilings are much higher than the Daniel Sprongs or the Andrew Kopps or the guys that you have right now that are the stopgap veterans. You have the truth, the real talent coming up through your system. That the guys that you looking to, obviously Danielson, he's a couple years away. Palinka is a couple of years away, but the guys that are ready, the guys that are going to make the jump probably next year, their ceiling is higher than what the guys you have on the roster.
But how? Oh, my bad. Go ahead. No, how long do you think that learning curve will be, though?
No, to answer your question, it's development. And if you pay attention to what they're doing down in Grand Rapids and how, like, especially second half of the year, they're coming together and, stepping up and playing and develop, it's different than it used to be, right? So I got to believe that in our system that these kids will be ready to play.
Okay.
My question, right, in the perfect scenario, just to stay on the goaltending, right, is the fact because, the season coach is having, and we're going to see what Grand Rapids can do in the playoffs and whatever else. But if Billy Husso, right, if he's healthy, then you possibly could run him and Kosa and bring Kosa up and run it next year if you believe that Kosa's ready. You know what I'm saying? So those are options. But to your point, Neil, more than likely, be prepared for them to run it back like this year because they're probably
and they have them. Too. Like Billy Husso's here. Alex Lyon's here for $900,000 next year. So I think
on the wall.
The writing's on the wall. It's like, this is why we like to do this, guys. Before we get into fantasy land and waste our time on dumb shit. I want to like deal in fact a little bit and see what it looks like.